All right. Good morning. How you guys doing out there? But some of you probably know who I am. Some of you have no clue who I am. My name is Travis. I am one of the pastors here at North Coast Church. And hey, if you are an 8th grader and you went to Whitewater 7th grader going into 8th grade, you did I went to Whitewater with you. And so I got to hang out with you. 8th graders, come on. I was the junior high pastor for a little while, so you should know me, but just in case, I know it's been a while, so, but I am excited. They asked me to come speak today. I'm like, no way, I get a chance to come speak in junior high again, so I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I have to use my computer because I forgot to print out my notes, so I hope it doesn't look awkward. Some people might be like, that's what people do nowadays. I don't know. I feel like I haven't been here in a long time. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like I used to do it a long time. So I'm excited to hang out with you today. I am going to go ahead and open us a word of prayer, and then we're starting a new series. I think we just got out of, does anyone remember what series we just got out of? Jonah, and we're starting a new one. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead, bow your heads, close your eyes, and let's get started. Dear God, I just want to thank you so much for who you are. Lord, it's exciting to be back here in junior high, Lord, and I just pray that you would, Lord, would you just speak to me this morning? Would you teach these students something new on how to live for you? We love you so much in your name. Amen. Now, even though I look like I'm a pretty big guy, and I kind of am a big guy, I'm pretty tall, and I'm put this way, I'm not light anymore, okay? I'm a bigger guy, but when I was younger, I was a small guy. Even in high school, I was really skinny. It's hard to believe, but I was this skinny beanpole. I think as a senior, I think I weighed like 130, okay? So, or going into my senior year. And so I was skinny. They would call me sometimes Skinny Bone Jones. My brother and I, since we were cyberts, they called us cyborg twins, and like because we were like these skinny robot look. No, we weren't. But I don't know why they called us that. But so here's the thing. I remember right after my junior year, I was like, I am sick of being skinny. I'm going to do something about it. And so I remember I made a commitment over my summer between my junior and senior year. I'm like, I'm going to work out every day. And I had this whole regiment planned. So I'd get home after work. I worked, I think, 6 hours in the summer almost every day going into my senior year because I wanted to save up money so I could go to prom, do all those things. And I remember that I had this workout where I would get home right after work and I would do like lifting weights. I had like 5 or 6 things that I would do. It would take me about 45 minutes to an hour every single day because I want to get bigger. Now, back then, they would have these commercials that if you want to get big, you got to drink milk. Okay, I don't know if they still have commercials like that. So I would drink milk. I think I drank like a half a gallon of milk every day because I'm like, the commercial said if I drink milk, I'm going to get big. So I would drink milk every day. And then before I'd go to bed every night, I would actually do 200 sit-ups, 200 push-ups, and 200 calf raises. And that's where you would get like on the steps, and you'd go like this, okay? And I remember after 3 to 4 months of doing this, okay, believe it or not, I had actually gained almost 20 pounds of muscle. Yes, I was still skinny, but now I had biceps. My body was starting to get formed. I even had an 8-pack. Is that crazy? And I remember I was so excited to go back to school because I'm like, people are going to notice, okay? And I remember my first day, I go back to school, and I remember I had just walked into the camp, and I think on purpose I wore a shirt that was a little more like going to show off a little bit. Remember, I was skinny, but like maybe they'd see my arms, how big they had gotten. And I remember the most incredible moment was the first class I went into, 2 people said, dang, Trav, have you been working out? And I was like, you noticed. It was legit, okay? And I remember I was like thinking in my time lapse, like, that summer was worth it. That was worth it. Now, if I was to tell you, hey, if you want to look better and you want your body to look better, we would all agree that working out is probably the way to do it. That does not shock you. It probably doesn't shock you. Well, Trav, you worked out every day really hard and ate certain types of foods. That was probably good. So you get that. But I want you to know something. Did you know that even in our spiritual bodies, if we want to actually grow spiritually, if we want to work out our spiritual bodies, there are different things that we need to do. You see, if you have your Bibles, open up to 1 Timothy 4:7. If you're like, where the heck is Timothy? Timothy is toward the back of the Bible. Almost to the far back. If you're going to go backwards, you would be Revelation, then Jude, then you would be, 3 John, 2 John, 1 John, then it would be 2 Peter, 1 Peter, then it would be James, and then it would be Hebrews, and then I think there's Philemon, Titus, and then Timothy. 1 Timothy 4, okay? Try and find that. It's real quick. It's 1 Timothy 4, 7 and 8 is what we're going to read right here. This is Paul talking to Timothy. He's a young pastor, okay? And he's talking to Timothy right here in 1 Timothy 4, 7. He says this, have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. He said, train yourself to be godly. For physical training is some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. He says we need to train our spiritual bodies. Okay, we got a Coke down there. Okay. Oh, dang it. All right. Man, that stinks. Okay, he says that we need to actually train our spiritual bodies. If you were to go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, it talks about that we're running a race, but this race is a spiritual race because the prize is we get heaven, and God talks about throughout the New Testament that we're actually trying to get rewards when we get to heaven. Okay, it's talking about this spiritual race is going on. And so the point of it is that we're supposed to be training our bodies, our spiritual bodies, like we would train our normal bodies. And so what we want to do is we're starting a new series, and the new series right here is called God Gains, okay? So for the next few weeks, we are going to actually be looking at different spiritual disciplines designed to help you transform relationship with God and help you grow spiritually. And here's where you're going to find out a lot of these things are simple things. You can do the Coke later. Don't worry. You can clean it up later. Just go ahead and leave it there. You're totally good. The facility team's going to clean it up. It's all going to be good. No worries, all right? Because right now we're talking about spiritually training our bodies, cleaning our spiritual bodies up, all right? Who cares about the Coke, okay? But here's what we're talking about. The next few weeks, we're going to go through something called God Gains, things that we're going to be doing to gain or to kind of strengthen our relationship with God. And they're simple things. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. Why do we give Cokes here? No, I was kidding. That's all right. Jeez. All right. Are you guys good now? You promised, Jack. We should have Jack come up and just talk the whole time, okay, about no skin. All right. So they are very distracting. I should just, kick them out, shouldn't I? I should just kick them out, and then I don't have to ever worry about them again. All right. So, but guys, please, can you give me 15 minutes or else? It's okay. If you're like, Trav, you suck, you can just walk out the door and have more fun without, in fact, if you all want, I'm just kidding. No, don't all leave. Okay. So let me talk through our first spiritual discipline we're talking about in God's Gains. This is really where I'm trying to get until the Coke thing happened, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about one spiritual discipline that is important for us that helps develop relationship with God and strengthen it is something called serving. Serving, okay? And we're going to look at different disciplines the next few weeks of, you're going to look at worship, we're going to look at time alone with God, all these things. But I really want to today talk about serving. Okay, and when I talk about serving, there's a lot of different things that come to mind. Serving could be actually going to someone's house and actually being a servant in front of them. Okay, that's like hardcore, like, I'm your slave, I'm your servant. Okay, when you sometimes think about serving, it could be like, well, going on a service project. Yeah, that could be serving. Or it could be actually, like in a church term, if maybe serving in another ministry area here at North Coast Church. Like, for instance, did you know that your small group leaders, if you come to T&L on Tuesday night, or if you come on the weekends and you see volunteers out here, those are all people that have chose to serve in junior high ministry because they care about you guys. Isn't that awesome? They're choosing to serve. one of the first God gains that we're going to talk about is this idea of serving. If you want to strengthen your relationship with God, you should start serving. And here's why. Here's why serving is so important. The first thing, if you have a note sheet, you're like, why is serving so important? How is serving going to help me have a God gain, strengthen my relationship with God? Well, here's the thing. Serving, one, when we serve, it reflects Jesus Christ. Did you know that when you serve others, whether you are going on a service project or going on a missions trip and you're going to go serve another tribe in maybe the, down in like Papua New Guinea, or you're going to go wherever you're going, if you're going to serve, you are actually reflecting Jesus Christ. If you're going to volunteer in a ministry here, you're actually reflecting Jesus Christ. You see, if you have your Bibles, it's found in Matthew chapter 20. Matthew 20. It's toward the end of Matthew 20. Okay, it says this right here. It's Matthew 20, 26. Okay, actually 25b. It says this. Jesus called them together. So he's talking to all of his disciples, okay? And he said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. Whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. He says you should serve others. And then he says, guess what? The God of this universe, when he came down as the God of this universe, Jesus came down. He was God. He gave up all his power, and he could have come down, and he could have said, do you know who I am? Okay, like let's just be honest. If you were the buffest person or the strongest person in this world, or maybe in this city or something like that, and you were the richest person and you had the most power and influence, when you would walk into a room, you'd be like, you know who I am? And you would be like, hey, bow down and worship me. Maybe not that way, but the way you would act, you'd feel like people need to respect you. And it's crazy how Jesus, when he came as God, he did not snap his fingers, because you guys understand this. Jesus had the power. If he would have wanted to, he could have prayed to God and he could have snapped his fingers and everyone instantly would have been made to bow in front of him. He could have had that power. But he said he did not come to be served, but to serve. And so when we serve others, we actually reflect Jesus Christ. We reflect Jesus Christ. You know what? If you went to the 8th grade Whitewater trip, you might have heard this story. I love it. It's a great story. There was a youth group that decided they wanted to serve their community, okay? And back in the day when I was growing up and in the early 2000s, okay, 20 years ago, a lot of church youth groups would do something called a totally free car wash, okay? So they would do this totally free car wash. They would have signs up, free car wash. And back then, I don't know if they still even do this, but I don't even know if they do car washes to make money, because, a lot of times, like the football players or the cheerleaders, the way they would sometimes raise money is they would do a car wash, and then they would charge money, and whatever they raised, now they raised it for them to go, whatever it is. They probably don't do this much anymore. There's probably rules against that. Who knows? Okay? But this church was doing a totally free one. And what they did was they actually made sure they got good at washing the car, so a totally free car wash was worth it. It wasn't free. Like, well, now I know why it's free, because you guys suck at washing cars. No, they worked on it. But this is what was cool. They not only were going to wash your car, but kids brought sodas, coffee. They brought candy bars. They brought donuts. They baked cookies. And while you were getting your car washed, they would have all this free stuff for you. Hey, guys. Can you guys just go outside right now, you three? Can you guys just go outside? Okay, if you're just going to talk all the time, it's disturbing me and it's disturbing all the people here. Thank you. All right, so, sorry. I asked you 3 times, and then you spill Coke, so there we go. All right, never mind. Hey, delete that from the video. You didn't hear nothing, you didn't see anything. Okay. Whew. Doesn't it already just feel better? There's not this. Thank you. What? I know. I heard him. I guess I have pretty good hearing for being old. Okay, so we're doing this totally free car wash, all right? They do all this stuff, and the first car pulls up. This is crazy. The first car, but they're so excited to watch cars. The first car pulls up, and when this car pulls up, it pulls into the driveway, and it pulls in the parking spot, and when the car pulls in, that's where everyone sees it, like, oh, my goodness. The back bumper seats, there's a picture that says, I hate Christians. I don't break for Christians. Christians are the worst, stuff like that, and they're like, no, we're a church. Do they know we're a church? She's going to, like, totally run us over, okay, in her car. And they're, like, freaking out, you know. She hasn't even gotten out of the car yet. And she's rolling up her windows. She's opening the car, and the youth pastor's like, it's okay, it's okay. So the youth pastor walks over. Youth pastor walks over to the lady and says, lady, we're so excited you're here. We want to wash your car for totally free, no strings attached. We're so glad you're here. We just want to show God's love. And he walks her over, and they're now like the other people getting, they're like, be careful, don't say anything bad, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they start just, hey, do you want free soda, all that? And the other people start washing the car. They're like, we got to do a good job because look at, she hates Christians, blah, 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 right? So they wash the car. And after they're done washing the car, the lady says, thank you, gets in the car, and she leaves. And she's driving out of the parking lot, and all of a sudden they hear, in reverse, and she's pulling back pretty fast. And they're like, oh, no. And one guy's like, I told you didn't wash the windshield well. I told you didn't. She's going to run us over and all this stuff, right? And the youth pastor, it's not a big deal. I'm sure it's nothing. He walks up. As he's walking up, she's rolling down the window, and she has tears in her eyes. And he's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. If our students broke anything, I totally apologize. And in tears, she says, no, 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 no. She says, you don't understand something. She says, I know a lot of Christians. And a lot of Christians are hypocrites, that they have really ruined my life, and that is because I've always had these stupid bumper stickers on the back. And she says, today was the first time, the way your students treated me, with tears in her eyes, she says, this is the first time that I got to actually see Jesus Christ. Now I know what the Bible says. Just because of a stupid car wash. That's it. You see, when we serve others, we can actually reflect Jesus Christ. God said, I was the first one to do it. I took my high position or took a low position. If you just serve others, you understand whenever you're serving others, you're reflecting him. Because he's the one who said, that's what I came to do. Anytime you serve, anytime you give up anything, you are actually reflecting Jesus Christ. First reason why you should start serving. Second thing is this. The second most important thing of why you shouldn't serve others is this. Serving takes your focus off of you. Serving takes your focus off you. Listen, here's the thing. We live in a world right now that when you wake up, the first person you think about you. The first person that you're worried about is you. When you go to school, you're worried about you. When you're living life, you're worried about you. Listen, I'm an adult. I am in my late 40s. I still worry about me. When I was in high school, college, I worried, am I cool enough? Am I liked enough? Am I going to marry someone beautiful? All these things was all about me. Am I going to get a good job? Am I going to me? But you know what's weird is when you start serving, it actually takes your focus off of you. Is that crazy? Why it's a God gain? Because God goes, hey, listen, quit thinking about yourself. Do something different. We're going to take your focus off of yourself and put it onto others. And it takes your focus off you. I love it. It says in Philippians 2:3-4, it says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. It also says in Matthew 23:11-12, okay? I love it. It's Jesus is ranting and raving. He is yelling at the Pharisees. He's like, the Pharisees are like the good Christian people. He's pretty much saying, you all suck. You all suck. I mean, it's crazy. You'd have to read it. But it says right here in verse 11, it says, the greatest among you will be your servant. For whoever exalts himself will be humbled. Whoever humbles himself will be exalted. It's this idea of like, quit thinking of yourself, but when you serve, when you are humbled, that's really when you're going to get exalted. Let me encourage you. I don't know right now, you guys are junior hires, but I wonder how many in this room are volunteering in Coast Kids? That's awesome. You don't have to raise your hand, but that's awesome. How many kids you're working with maybe the babies? Like, imagine if you were actually starting to serve right now. You're like, who am I? And it's like, no, you can start serving right now. I remember my brother, we grew up in a Christian home, but he had some problems with youth group. A lot of times it was high school when like he had a hard time with some of the youth groups. And I remember what brought him back to Jesus Christ, what really strengthened his walk was when he started volunteering with high school. He was in college, he was volunteering with high school, and his focus went off of him. He wasn't mad at the church anymore because he cared so much about these high schoolers and have an impact on their lives. It was amazing, and it was funny when that focus, it's crazy because my brother has an up and down relationship with God. But here's what's interesting. Every time he serves, every time he's in a serving position, his relationship with God goes up. I think it's because it takes the focus off of him. There was this girl that was struggling. She was a high schooler in a youth group, and she was struggling with depression. She would have suicidal thoughts. She was really struggling, so she would literally call the youth pastor 3 to 4 times a week. Help me, help me. A lot of times it would be like at 9 o'clock at night, and he'd have to, just about to be going to bed, and all of a sudden he'd get a phone call and have to be like, honey, I'm sorry, I need to take this phone call, and he'd have to talk to this girl, and a lot of times he would be trying to encourage her. He'd be trying to counsel her over the phone. He would try to encourage her, try to sometimes talk her off the ledge, per se, in that realm, and it was getting to the point where he felt like there's nothing he could do. And it was the craziest thing, but one night finally, she called and he said, hey, listen, Sarah, I need you to know something. You can't keep calling me like this. Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. You call me 4 nights a week. And she's like, but I need help. And he's like, here's what I'll tell you. I will not talk to you until you go this week. I want you, just for 1 week, I want you to serve the old folks home down the street. Just for 1 week, I want you to go every day after school. And after that, you can call me on Friday. But this week, I want you every day to go there. Nope. And she's like, but I need help. Nope. This is what I want you to do. She's like, okay, Pastor. So she goes on Monday after school. She goes to the old folks' home right before dinner. And she starts hanging out with them, and they're doing crafts. And she starts doing crafts with them. And they're like, hey, Sarah, can you help us? And she's like, I'll be right there. And she starts hanging out. She is talking to all of them. They're asking her stories about her life. She's asking stories about them. She's hanging out so much that all of a sudden she stays for dinner. She goes Tuesday, the same thing happens. She goes Wednesday. She goes Thursday. You know what? She never called the youth pastor again because she didn't need to. You see, the focus had been taken off her. It was put on other people, and she loved it so much that it radically changed her life. It changed her relationship with God. And it changed her life because she started to feel needed. She started to feel value. It is interesting when we take our focus off ourselves and put it on others, how it strengthens our walk with God. And it changed her relationship with God. It changed her relationship with the youth pastor because she just started serving. I wonder how many of you right now, if you said right after this talk, you know what, I want to help out in Coast Kids. I want to help out in Little Coasters, and just took that opportunity. I wonder if it would start to have an impact in your life. And the third reason why you should serve, very simple. One is it reflects Jesus Christ. Serving reflects Jesus Christ. Second is it takes the focus off of you. And third, it allows you to have impact. You know what's crazy is this. We think sometimes serving is what people do in low positions, that we have to serve someone, and some of you get extra credit at school for it because you have to serve. You have to do volunteer things, and you're like, okay, I do that. And you're like, well, it's just something we have to do. I will tell you right now, if you're willing to start serving others, you would be surprised that not only will it take the focus off of you, not only will you reflect Jesus Christ, but you will start to see that you can have impact for the kingdom. I will tell you right now, all of our small group leaders that come to TNL, a lot of them just thought, I need to go serve. Maybe some were like, it'd be awesome to hang out with junior hires. There's some that are like, I can't believe I hang out with junior artists, because some of you can be hard sometimes, okay? Let's just be honest. Some of you are pretty awesome. Some of you are not sometimes. And they choose to do that. But here's the thing is, there's some of you here today, you're like, if it wasn't for my small group leader, if it wasn't for what the impact they had in my life, there's some of you, the questions that you have for them, the conversations you had for them, the impact they are having has been amazing. And I will tell you right now, some of them volunteer with you because they felt like they needed a volunteer somewhere. And now I willing to bet a lot of them say, no, the impact I've gotten out of it is well worth the serving. You see, we're doing a series, God Gains. You want to strengthen your relationship with God. You know, one thing that's very important is we got to be serving others. Now, you need to understand something. I'm not saying serving makes you a Christian. I'm not saying serving saves you. No. There's only one thing that saves you is having a relationship with Jesus Christ, making him Lord of your life. Not only believing there's a God, not even believing that God is Jesus. It's you saying, God, I want you to be Lord of my life. You're saved. There's nothing you have to do. But I'm saying if you want to strengthen that relationship, if you want to grow that relationship, one of the first things that you need to start doing is you need to start serving others. And I want to encourage you, you could start next week. You could immediately leave this room and go, I want to start serving somewhere. You could start doing that. So that's our first thing. I can't wait to see what you guys will learn next week, the week after that. But I just want to leave that with you. So let's go ahead and pray. Dear God, I just want to thank you so much for who you are, Lord. Lord, I just pray as we continue this series, Lord, that you would teach us something new about how to grow our relationship with you, Lord, so that you can make us whole and complete, not lacking anything like it says in James, Lord. We love you so much in your name. Amen.